Alrighty then, welcome back to small Kerbal Space Program. Interesting, why can I not hear? Oh, my headset was down really low. Okay, that explains it. Let's get back to putting things in space. I forget exactly how far we got. It crashed. Because of course it did. As soon as I start. I think it's also because I was trying to close the Steam overlay. Okay, take two. Interactive. Horrible things. Come on. Okay, this time it's working. Did I speak too early? There you go. Now we can resume. Okay, what? Why am I on... What? Click resume, and then I didn't get the option? Interesting. But this time we'll load. Surely. Okay. Just quickly check. No, I'm not planting a flag on Eve. I've just retrieved Kerbals back from Eve. Ooh. That is a lot of money for something that's an orbit of Minimus. I will take that. So have a look at the Eve mission where it currently stands, and then figure out where to go from there. So that would be under ships, potentially? Or stations? Stations? Eve station, there we go. Where do we stand currently? So, you need to bring across the Gilly expansion, and then also Rui segment, I believe. And if we go to the hub module, got at least part of that there. Got the Gilly expansion and the crew. Now that... Ah. Hello, welcome. Yeah, I'm doing well. Right, no, that's supposed to be for the return. I don't want to use that up. Now, if I remember, I did make something to transfer this across to the other... to the Eve station. Where is it, I wonder? A grabber? No. Might be KLO Tug? it's supposed to target around. Yes, this is it. Okay. Now, I need to rendezvous with the HAB module. Believe it's target. Yes, it is target. Okay. So we will need to slow down. So let's add some prograde. What? What? In any case, I'm gonna figure out this rendezvous. I'll maneuver later on in the orbit and just move several orbits down the line and see how close we get. Okay. So I'll go back to the first maneuver and just bring it in a bit. And let's just check that separation value. Risks I can't work. Ooh, yikes. That's rough. Yeah, I got a friend who fell off a truck and now is having some similar medical issues. Yeah, it's rough. Bring them close together. I take this maneuver node. What's the angle of inclination? Ah, that's what it will be. 7 degrees of inclination. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Set that back up again. Where okay, descending node there. Probably what I'll go for. Needs to be further away. Boo! That was loud. And thank you for the follow. Not getting the notification yet. Yeah. Okay, all I'm getting is that last person followed was 7 days ago, and apparently I somehow just hit the 30 followers goal. I don't know how that works. Maybe there's anonymous. I don't follow Twitch stuff much. Maybe there's anonymous follows, I guess. But yeah, going back to trying to set up a rendezvous. Let's point towards the maneuver node, at least. Get it somewhat close to matching. Then I'll adjust the inclination. Close enough. Yeah, figure out inclination and then fix the last little bit of called separation. 10-second long burn, so I'll burn 5 seconds before and after the node. Yeah, I guess freedom in some ways, but less freedom in other ways. That tends to be the way things go, though. Give up one freedom for another. Freedom to and freedom from. Okay, let's work on that descending node next. Let's see, 0.7 degrees. Nope. Down to 0 degrees of inclination. There we go. It's good. Welcome. Ooh. Yeah. Didn't stream. I had originally planned to stream yesterday, but didn't get around to it. So I exercised harder than normal, and I am very tired and sore. This maneuver. Okay. Very sane. 2. There we go. Stop. Another 1.1 meters a second. Not too shabby. Okay, now let's try to fine tune this. Yeah, we are significantly higher up than the other side. So let's bring that in. Kind of hard to see when it will be matching the correct orbital height. Think about there. A bit longer. Sorry about that, I'm back. Ooh. Not being able to shower, that's rough. Gradually getting lower, smaller and smaller burns, so I'm up a bit closer. Close enough. Okay, now let's add a maneuver there, but first let's warp over to this side so that I'll actually be able to see how close we are. Our target orbital height. Yeah, could do with being a bit slower. Yeah, let's get rid of those maneuver nodes for now. Create a new one up here. Now, so it's touching our target's orbit. There we go. These are the ones that are active, so let's bring their thrust limiter down. Come on. Come on, 7. There we go. Time off around to it. My thoughts on Fermi paradox? I think it's still early universe as far as life is concerned. There's certain things that you don't really get from first or second generation stars that you start to see those materials in third generation stars. So, I mean, a lot of things that life that we know of, at least, wouldn't really be possible earlier on, and then you need time for life to actually develop. Getting close to that. Leave a node first, so 4. Go. And then you've got light speed delays of maybe there are things that are intelligent, but they won't know about us for thousands of years still. And then even if if they are able to tell that we exist, sending a message back to us will also take time, or traveling, if they're so inclined, would also take a long time. How close does that get us? Not especially, so bring our orbit down a bit. Where's what? Where's the other half of the target position? What? This? Okay. There we go. Less than a kilometer. One kilometers. How close exactly? That is not correct. Bring the thrust limiters back down again. 5. Yeah, time is a big one. Thoughts for Fermi paradox, at least. Time. Don't think Dark Forest really makes much sense. Node, but close enough. Oh. Let's go a few orbits down the line. Final adjustments up here. Hello, welcome. Haven't left yet. Let's see, 3.2 kilometers. Okay. Up from there. If I make another maneuver here, orbits down the line. Long until that node. It doesn't really say, does it? Go with that, and then try that separation down. Yep. I need to bring the thrust limiter even lower. Yay. Go down to 0.5%. Maybe you do more robotic probe exploration in your lifetime? Maybe narrow down some questions within the paradox? More exploration of Mars would be cool. Yeah. There's places where life could develop, but then runs into issues. Like Mars, for example, where maybe life could have developed, maybe it did develop, but before it could really get started. What is... What? KSP. What? I think the drone's drunk. Okay, how about I increase it to 1%? That make you happier? How about 2%? How about I just put you on stability assist? Okay, why do I not have access to maneuver? Back to maneuver 1. Or retrograde. Not that retrograde, this retrograde. Let's just go with that. And then back to time warping. Oh, right. I'll need to wait until it's retrograde at the location. Yeah. Dark Forest just doesn't really make much sense from a game theory perspective. Because you got competing narratives in a way of, well, you need to have requirement A, but then requirement A is kind of in contradiction with your actual end result. Anyway. I need to just again back to 0.5%. 0.5%, there we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, now see how close we are. 44 meters. Nice. Let's go ahead and warp to that. Meantime, get the bus limiter back up. Okay, so our final orbit until we're matching rendezvous here. So switch over to target. Here we go. Retrograde. Minutes and 40. Where is it? Is quick save and time warp again. Go, it's loaded in. Let's get a bit closer with that direction. I think. Give a tiny burn just to push us a bit closer. Nope, that's pushing our intercept further away now. Wait a bit. Let's go until 500 meters and then bring us down to 20 meters a second. Go down to 10 meters a second, yeah. We are specifically looking for this side of it. Works. Closer. Retrograde. Hey, is it incorrect to say intelligent life formed pretty quickly on Earth? If it does, it's worse from the perspective of solving the paradox. I don't see how it's worse. If we're ahead of the curve, then it would make sense why there's less life than expected in the universe. Or less observable life is the more important part. Okay, go from here, yes, on, and going to target. And then from here, yep, and then target and point at it. And then prepare to dock. Let's switch the engines. Should be enough to get us to dock. In terms of geologic time perspective, basically no time has passed between early mammals and intelligent life on Earth. But you've also then got all the geological time periods taking place. What? I seem to be drifting towards the station here. Let's try to get out of the way first. Not hit it. Now, we need to get to the other... Yeah. I did not mean to switch. Yeah, maybe we're the first. What I think is more important to the question is that where the... Because you also have to take into account light speed delays. So we'd be first in our local cluster in a way. Our local, not cluster, because that implies the galaxy cluster, but like local star systems. And maybe there is something else out there, but we won't know about. It's not been the light delay to get to us yet. That is going to be way too much burning. There we go. Just keep in mind, our nearby stars are a couple... Well, depends which ones you're talking about. The closest one's only a couple light years away. The other nearby ones are a couple dozen away. But by the time you're getting like galaxy spanning, that is 1,000 years, which is longer than we've been able to fly by a significant margin. A lot can happen in 1,000 years once you have intelligent life, but before then, things go pretty slowly. Yeah, it only took a couple of decades to go from flying to first man in space. But think about how long it took between gunpowder and flying. That was several hundred years. Let's see, off the top of my head. Yeah, about half a millennium. And I can move the paper along. Inclination not too bad. And let's just see. Okay. Not that many. I go. This one. Go an extra orbit and then this maneuver not go as far out. Yep. 2 kilometers, not too bad. Get that a bit closer. Mm, 1.4. Let's just get rid of the radial. Now, Eve mission today? Maybe. We'll at least set up for maneuver, I think. Main goal is assembling everything all together. Anything on top will be bonus. Second, so when this hits T -3. Hmm. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I am facing the wrong direction. There we go. Press the action group to switch the direction on the engines. Switch over to control from that docking port to switch the direction we're facing so we're not burning the engines towards the crew compartment. That would be ideal. Engines to swap back around, and now... dear. Wonder if that messed up the timing. A bit. That can be corrected though. And add the maneuver a couple orbits around. Oops. Back to that first maneuver. Let's see. More prograde. Not too surprised about that. 1.5. 0.2. Really not much, but... Oh, it's going to do that again, isn't it? Just floating around. The universe is big. However, there's not much point contemplating life elsewhere in the universe that we're never going to be able to get to, and even if life has developed, we won't know forever, basically. So it's things within our galaxy, maybe the local cluster, that could be relevant. Warp at the node. Warp a bit longer. Not what I wanted. I wanted to press X, not Z. Is slightly annoying. Okay, well, let's just push another orbit down the line. Let's actually cancel that first one. Hour 27, so with an orbital period of 33 minutes, pushing it back one orbit. So really could do some adjustments on the other apoapsis, but I don't think that's really what we need. Okay, 1.7 got that pinned. You know what? 1.7 kilometers, that's close enough. Let's just warp. Maybe an alien civilization far away in space and time is looking at us right now. They wouldn't be looking at us right now because the light from right now has not reached them yet. Maybe they're looking at us from 1,000 years ago. What's that? It switched over to target, but I was already in the middle of trying to switch over to target, so it clicked away from target. Retrograde. Let's see. Oh, there it is, 2.4 kilometers. That would be for right now, like reaching them in the future. Yep. We are. Yep. See? Let's just start slowing down and pushing us closer to the target at the same time. Not seem to be especially pushing us towards the target. It is at least slowing us down. And yeah, our intersect is going down now. How close we're getting. 100 meters away. Bit more this way. 400 meters now. Okay. And I'm going to be pushing our retrograde towards target. Not as hard to burn, because you do still want to be making progress towards target. That'll do. Just quick save, get a bit closer. We'll need to spin around and then connect backwards to this. So cancel out with velocity. I'll maneuver around. Oh, 0. So I'll need to do is attach to the engine here. Disconnect. SAS. Okay, there we go. And now, which ones are active? These ones. Okay. Around this way. That is target. Retrograde, cancel out with the velocity. Okay. So, now that we've got a bit of space, roll from here and arm, and let's pull these back for now. We'll, first of all, flip this over. Let's control from here and set target, I guess, towards target. Then if I can line this up properly. Target. Now, should be lined up to the opposite side's rear docking port. In the camera here. Yep, using rear clamp mechanism because I need the docking port to be able to actually dock with the station down there. Now, hard to tell how well I'm lined up. Give this a try. Let's switch the engines, then give us a try. Let's go stability assist for a second. Ooh. Prograde, and then back to target. Okay. Not greatest alignment. I think it will do. That looks pretty in line. Not perfect though. You can see this claw is not out as far as like this claw. Now, to improve the stability, go ahead and arm all of these. Yep. And hope that it's close enough to the center of mass that the reaction mules can take care of the rest. I'll just slowly bring the clamps in. There we go. They're all attached. That should keep it from wobbling, hopefully. Now, those are the ones. We'll control from here. And we will be targeting the station. First, let's move any okay, I think that's all full. That's all as full as needed. Could transfer some extra liquid fuel just to be sure. Yeah, okay, that still has its okay, that still has the thing. Yeah. So how can I plan all that? What aspect you mean by that? Yeah, let's put into the central. And add the liquid fuel from here too. And might as well move the liquid fuel from here as well. Okay, so now to couple that, to couple this one, I guess move this one out of the way first. I've got it on hibernate, don't I? Okay, hibernate off. Just go briefly prograde. I can afford to just go directly retrograde here. Oop, no, don't hit things, don't hit things, don't... Okay, nothing broke. Good. Retrograde now. Like all the station is designed meticulously to the point you had to create a cut. So, creating a custom grabber to dock one module correctly, that is because it wasn't all planned correctly. Ideally, I wouldn't need that, and I would have just been able to dock everything together. But I realized after the fact, yeah, I've got this thing I need to dock. I don't have a way of docking it together currently. Yeah, let's just get this out of the way. That should do it. Switch back to this one. Decouple that. To it. Also flip to retrograde. And I will need to enable that fuel. And just out of the way. Thrust limit is on 1%, that explains some things. That'll do. Now, no, I don't care about you, I do care about you. Let's see. Here. Yep, correct engines are on. Let's point towards our target. Let's have our target point towards it. You. Ooh, that was maybe a mistake because I don't have the struts on yet. But that's not causing too much of an issue. I think. Maybe. Not you two. There you go. Point you back at target. Okay. Wanting to pull it towards the target, so I will need to be burning this way. Increase that burn speed, there we go. Now we should be heading towards the target. Approximately. Just keep it on stability assist. Pulling it towards the target reticule. I think that's going to be close enough. I think here I can just switch the engines to slow down. It's a bit wobbly, but the struts with the whole thing together should help with that. Do a bit of time warping, in part to get closer, in part to stop twisting. Closest approach, not great. Flexing a fair bit. Fair bit more than I would have liked. Let's try to cancel out some velocity, I think, at this point. Okay, let's point retrograde and then just switch the engines. So time warp is on period and comma. And then if you want to force physics warp to time warp during a burn, it's alt period comma. Yeah, that is wobbling a fair bit too much. Okay, let's get our engineer out. That's where it's flexing. Actually, I wonder, can I use some rigid connection? Yeah, that seems to have helped. And some auto strutting. Current part. I don't think I can make it rigid when it's not in assembly building. Okay, let's just insert. We can time warp and hope that somewhat fixes the problem. Turn off SAS for a moment. Let things settle down. Hope for the best in the meantime. Okay. Module is too excited to dock. Yep. Scroll from here. SAS on again and target. Right angle? I guess so. It's off and time warp. Cancel out some motion, yep. Okay, SAS back on. Let's just go with 0.4 meters a second. That's not quite where I want it to be heading. And I need to pull it. Yeah, it's. Ooh, what I could do. Disable the torque on these ones. Then all the torque will be generated by this section. As opposed to having two separate torques fighting against each other. Yeah, that seems to have helped a fair bit. Okay. Now pull it down a bit. Target. Meanwhile, have target. Pointing at it in return. Oh. Been around. I've switched around the engine direction, so now I should be pushing prograde, which is actually a retrograde marker. Targets. That does feel a lot better now. Okay. Point at target, how close is that now? Oh, yeah, that last one was overcorrecting. Okay. But not actually a helpful diagram. Switch back the engines and pull it back over the rescue. You'll still need to pull it further. Go this direction. Now point back to target. Oh, not enough. Okay. Yeah. Going the right way. Now, let's see. 30 meters now. Not a fan of that measurement. Time to settle back. It's still, we're not heading towards our target. Yeah. Let's go and try to just cancel out all velocity. Try again. Fortunately, I can't really do that well when we're below 1 meters a second. I need to keep it on stability assist and not have it fighting to go back towards the target. Okay. Now point towards the target and switch the engines again. Camera up front. I am a bit concerned. Rotate. Yeah, I mean, we'll be blocking off the ladders, but will mean that the solar arrays aren't going to be at risk of hitting the side. Auto save. Okay, we are between them. RCS has its places. Ooh. But RCS isn't going to be all that effective at moving this. I did eventually think of having RCS on it, but by that point I'd already launched it into space. I am going to have to remove those. So let's get out our engineer. Where? This, I guess. There we go. So let go RCS. Okay. First of all, Okay. Get. Okay, let's switch back and transfer some items across. Actually, no, I'm trying to remove items. Never mind, I don't need that. Down again. Okay, now pull up the engineering one so that I can get the in place. Okay, there we go. We can attach it there. Attach it to itself. And we will want to do the same on this one. Oh, we're getting too far away now. Attach it there. It's the construction mode, so we can get back to RCS. Then move closer. Okay, and now we can move it. Yep. Now, we can get onto this ladder. Move it into the storage container. Yep. Go ahead and... Let's actually I can leave them in there and transfer them later. Let's once again cancel out velocity. That's good. Yeah, just using the trick of time warping for a second to cancel out rotation. Nope. 0 meters a second. Yep. Round. Point at target. And it should also point at target. Try this again. What? Point to target. I don't know what it's doing. It's got a mind of its own. Docking is always adult content, whether you're in space or not. Anyway. Weren't quite cancelled out from velocity. Let's do a quick little adjustment for that. I don't like how much that's swaying background, but when it just near where its equilibrium point should be, just a quick time warp. And that does cancel out a lot of that. This module does not want to get Eve. That is correct. It's heard what horrors await there. But that is going a lot better now that we've removed the all stubs left over from... There we go, it's docked. All the problems have now been resolved. Yay, woohoo. Just quick save to make sure. Okay, now, next will come the job of putting everything together. So, let's start off with transferring back out. Yeah, let's go to the crew. First of all, I think probably decouple this. So, couple there. Switch over to it. Oh, yeah, I've got backup fuel. Good. And point to retrograde. And get it out of the way. Yeah, emergency strut before the station wobbles itself into oblivion, but also get the big massive weight that's wobbling it into oblivion out of the way. There we go. Now, do I attach this? Aim the camera here first. Let's arm all of them. Side ones at least. Go. And pull them back. Then, it's this one. I probably could have released rather than thoroughly disarming. I don't know if that's actually possible with the Genius. Let's see. Switch over to it. And switch the engines slightly away from it. There we go. Now switch back to it. There we go. Now comes the job of sunless. Here we go. Go RCS. Now, I had originally thought, yeah, I'll be fine, I've got ladders on this, but because the solar panels are on the way, I can't use that ladder. So, just have to move approximately. Mode. There we go. Now I can attach things. Oh, I'm too far away. Other side. Does not want to attach. Go. Now, switch over to here, so then I can move some more parts around. So, I want at least 2 more, probably 4 more. For this section, and then I'll want to move some as well. How much storage space does that have? I don't think it has any. This has got a bit, this has got some more though. Okay. Oh. Let's move at least 4 in. Probably want at least 6. So yeah, this will be for moving things within Eve. This is for getting it, like these nuclear engines are for getting it to Eve. Let's see. The other side. Well, I suppose I could use or remnant stubs of the struts. So let's pick up that. Basically what I did before. Other side. Go. Now, probably want to attach sections together. So let's move along. Start losing. Get too far away from the storage unit, I can't access it anymore. So let's in temporary locations. I will want at least 2. So 1. Now. Could attach to here potentially, maybe. Doesn't seem to be a fan. Let's see. That. Okay. Maybe from the docking port up to the most secure of connections. Ten tricks via the engineers down in the Space Center don't want you to know. You can attach to thin air if it's inside an engine. Okay. This side. That will at least get us something, some extra stability. And also add a bit more. Yeah, I'm not sure that would actually really work. But we don't have, because they're in line, they're not as well suited to this. Stop moving. Oh, but while you have something selected or picked up in space EVA construction, you can't use your jetpack, which is why ladders are very useful. Then you don't need to worry about moving. And even if you perfectly cancel out your velocity, once you actually put something somewhere, then you're going to end up in a situation where you are moving. Opposite side here. How far do I want to connect to you? About here. Not where. Did it? That way then. And let's move this further. Far up. Up nearly at the top here. It'll do. And yep. Now, let's have a look. Let's just quickly board to refill on fuel. And leave again. And you can see we're back to having full EVA propellant. And let go. Well, I suppose I could have just moved to... Yep. So that's where I'm moving anyway. Could have just transferred inside the vessel, but oh well. This works. Now, I'm going to... Construction again. I wonder. These are all attached together. There's not much point in putting a connection here because we're very close to the attachment point. So what I could do is move... Yeah. It should be deleted. I don't think it should be appearing in chat anymore. But yeah, spam. It was all this time. Okay, so we are going to slightly ruin the view, I think, by doing this. But I'm sure it will be worth it. The other side. And most of the way up the patterned area. Final one on this side. Oh. And I guess across this way. And close. Where did I attach that? Okay, near the bottom of the lab section. Side was it? It's bottom side. Okay, I nearly attached them the same side. Wouldn't have been much help. So these are now strutted together. These strutted together, and everything else is attached to either senior docking ports. Everything else should be well attached. Case. Leave construction mode. Let go. RCS. Back to the actual crew compartment. Quick save. Auto save rather. Go. And board. And some antennas. Might as well. Actually, got these. We don't need to worry about the antennas. You might as well extend them. I wonder. I don't think we can see what the actual signal strength that we have. Antennas. Total combined. It just says that they're combinable. Okay. And might as well extend the solar panels. There we go. That should be all good and ready to go. Let's get ourselves into a bit closer to a circular orbit. Okay, what's the central? 0005. Yeah, that should be good. That's a 3-minute long burn. I'm not a fan of that. But we've got the base ones are activated. Ones are not. Yeah. Wait for these engines as well. Still saying it will be a 3-minute long burn. I'm not a fan of that. And let's draw from here. Oh, we're pointing the right way. Quick save. Maybe just check. That's it. Yeah, we're all at 100. They're all at 100. Great ratio. 0.36. Oh, 0.17. Yeah, honestly, still not too bad. Yeah, screw destructive window for maximum security. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. Well, we're welding it onto the window. Makes world of difference. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. 8 seconds burn time. Not for a party tonight, you would have missed the stream. Oh no, if it would have been VODs. But I am happy you're here. Okay. I mean, initial rotation test. We're not seeing any swaying, so that's some good news. Well, any swaying beyond the elevons moving on their own. Let's just do time warping. So about 4 seconds aside. Getting our first. Oh, I missed that. But yeah, that feels quite stable. To 0.004 on eccentricity, even better than I was initially going for. Now, to Eve. Great that. But we've got plenty of delta V. Might as well point it towards maneuver. And that is going to be in 313 days. So slightly before our other leaves, will be a 9-minute long burn. That's fine. Yeah, I don't mind wasting the extra fuel. You've got a couple of options. You could just burn directly up from maneuver node for the full 9.5 minutes. You will be wasting some energy as you're basically cancelling out the velocity that you had that isn't prograde at the start. However, it is more efficient than just burning prograde the whole time, because then once again you're changing the timing and all sorts of things. And you are also cancelling out the non-prograde result vector a bit, so you're wasting some energy that way. However, your other option is to split up your burn into a couple of segments. So you do maybe 2 minutes burn, wait until you come back around, and then you do the rest of it, or you could split it up into 4 separate burns. That's what they tend to do with like ion thrusters, the Hall effect thrusters, because you don't get much thrust, but you do get plenty of delta V out of it. And the whole point is to maximize delta V, so they just do a small burn where they're not wasting much from burning away from prograde, and then wait until you get back and do another small burn, wait until you get back, do another small burn. The important thing is, once you leave the sphere of influence, you need to have the rest of it all be one burn, because you're not going to come back to your periapsis at that point, once you've escaped. What else? I was going somewhere with that, but I've forgotten. Yeah, actually, now I remember. Is there a 2E button? Is it that simple? Yep. So there's a maneuver tool, which has been in for a while. I always forget about the visualization thing. But basically, just get yourself into a circular orbit, and then you can... it will just give you the time and actually create the maneuver for you. Transfer to different objects. Yeah, that's a simple way of doing it. It will tell you when you're leaving, how much DV to transfer, and how long it will take. Yeah, I'll probably do a mid-course correction burn in any case. Just to get more details, probably get a closer encounter than what they provide. Ooh. Oh, yeah, they give a transfer window timing. Okay. So how long until the transfer window, I guess? 351 days? Is that... That doesn't seem quite right, because that's ahead of the transfer window, if that's the case. World first... What? We have initiated the first flyby of Juno. Okay. Yeah, the maneuver tool doesn't work well if you're not in a circular orbit, because it's trying to optimize it, but then maybe your apoapsis is in the wrong place to do that maneuver at minimum energy, and so it will keep trying later orbits. So if you are going to use it, I do recommend getting into a circular orbit first. But yeah, that's in vanilla. Might be one of the DLC, but I'm pretty sure it was just one of the later updates. Guess while got an hour. I could... So at the start of the session, I did pick up a mission for an asteroid with, not an asteroid, fixing a satellite. It's in orbit of Minmus. So, for that, all I really need is my SSTO. But we also need to pack a battery. And an engineer. I guess we need to pack an engineer. You can go in the boot. Yeah, I'm not landing on Mimis, so I can go over KLO version. Yep. Okay. Let's see what's the contract exactly. Which part do I need exactly? Here we go. Z400. There we go. And let's see if that fits. Yep, that fits in there. Might need to get better with your orbits. Might get ahead of yourself. Fine. Let's see. Yep, I guess you're volunteering for the mission because you're our only engineer that's left. Okay. Let's go ahead and launch then. So considering that it will take longer than one in-game day to get to Minmus, I will need to do the Minmus. Not Minmus. It will take longer than a day to get to Minmus, but that means that the Juno mission will happen before then. Line up down the center line, or off the center line, but aligned with it. Thrust up at max. Do the useless thing, the couple, and turn on the engines. Ronbart's probably going to get some more XP from orbiting Minmus. Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. When you're a kid, there's going to be so many things about orbital mechanics you do not understand, and it will not make any sense. Let's take off. Fill up landing gear, G, and go from there. Audio seems pretty glitchy. Don't know why. Spent a fair amount of time watching KSP YouTubers do things. But yeah, I know if I had just immediately started, I would not have been able to do half of what I'm doing now. Oh. Okay, that's interesting. Zooming out, I can now hear it with both my ears. When I'm zoomed in, no, I can only hear it out of right ear. Okay. Yeah, picking up some good speed. Nearly 600 meters a second at 4 kilometers up. Is that something splashed down? I think I did see some debris splash down earlier today. In any case, let's pin thrust on the ramjets. 800 meters a second at 7 kilometers. Starting to get some re-entry effects. 9 kilometers, 900 meters a second. Good. Slowly increasing our pitch as Kerbin curves away from us. This area is unlocked when you're far to protect the viewers' ears. Right now, this is the pilot's view. I'm sure that's not terrifying in the slightest. I cannot see the cockpit from this view. I can hear, yeah, we're starting to lose thrust there, so let's turn on the nuclear engine. And as we hit about 60, I would say turn on the aerospikes. And I'll pull up the oxidizer view, or resources view, so I can see the oxidizer. Now, we're about to flame out. And there we go. So let's close the air intakes and turn off the engines. Stop pinning them as well. 35 kilometer apoapsis. We've got plenty of oxidizer still, so that's looking alright. 40 kilometer. Yeah, you've got a few ways of going up into orbit. Way number one, which is not very efficient, burn straight up, get into space, and then burn sideways to go into orbit. Way two, you do a gravity turn, you take the diagonal of that triangle, so that you're using less fuel to get into orbit. It is getting nice and high now. And way number three, you just go horizontally until everything leaves behind you. Underneath you. You have curves away underneath. That's kind of how the magnetic launches will probably do from the moon at some point. Like with industrialization of space. Seconds. I don't think we've got 32 seconds left on. That's probably not. Let's wait until we're out of atmosphere and then start burning with just the nuclear. Yeah, don't trust that time. On one, launch a booster payload carrier and lander. Yep, it's a SSTO, single stage to orbit. The idea being you're able to use the wings to get lift and oxidizer, or getting oxygen from the air, so you don't need to carry it up with you, using both of those to gain more efficiency to get up into space. Let's see. Let's turn on the nuclear engine. We're at 60 kilonewtons of thrust. How much do we get once we're out of the atmosphere? Changed? No, it is. Okay. Why does it suddenly change from 20 minutes down into 5 minutes then? I do not know. In any case, I will be turning the aerospikes back on. Give that little bit of extra boost. Okay. That should be good enough now. Yeah, so using the efficiency of jet engines, using wings to get lift as opposed to having to burn directly against gravity. And then, yeah, just using the aerospikes for that in-between bit while we're still in the atmosphere to get out of the atmosphere, and then the nuclear engine while we're out of the atmosphere to actually get into orbit, and then wherever we need to go. Yeah, if you're doing career mode, I highly recommend you get a plain SSTO. Because once you're able to reuse that, you're recovering 90% of your funds to do a mission, to do a contract. I think the payout for the contract I'm doing is going to be about 400k, and it's probably going to cost me maybe 1 or 2k to actually do the whole mission. Now we are about to hit apoapsis. So periapsis might get out of the ground, but I think I will need to go for just a bit more of the aero spikes. I think once I hit apoapsis here, just for a brief moment, that's probably enough. Tried already, but ejects the bollocks. Yeah, planes are hard, I will say that. Definitely test them out in sandbox mode first, just to get used to making them. 'Cause, yeah, stability is an issue. Having enough thrust to get into space is an issue. Having enough fuel to get into space is an issue. And then having enough thrust again to get into space is an issue. Once you've added more fuel, because now you're not going to have enough thrust. It is a bit of a balancing act. Yeah, I, for example, haven't been able to get a Mark III SSTO working yet. It is something I would like to do, but yeah, I'm having some issues with that. Oh. Let's add a maneuver here. It's ahead of us. So, let's bring in that apoapsis. Go a bit further out. That looks to be matching. Now, we just change the time to at the right location. There we go, we've got an encounter. And yeah, you definitely need to have the right oh, that's my base, yeah, okay, never mind. I'm probably gonna need a probe. Where is contract light? Aging minus. Target. 12-minute burn. I might just use the aerospikes again for this. And yeah, I guess another thing for SSTOs in career mode is you need to have the science to have good enough jet engines. So I'd say the bare. So yeah, I can't remember the engine tier before this, but the third from last engine tier I would say is minimum to get a good SSTO. Let's turn those on. 1 second. Don't think I'm going to have 51 seconds of burn. Round. So Rapier, they have the advantage of you don't need to bring separate engines to get into space because you can switch modes to get to closed cycle mode, I think it's called, or maybe it's mode, I can't remember. In any case, that lets you switch to using oxidizer with your jet engines. So that's neat. They also have more thrust. I am a fan of the Whiplash ramjet, because you will get more efficiency out of the jet engine part of it, at least. Then you need air-breathing engine. Oh, air-efficient engines with enough thrust. With an oxidizer. Should probably start burning. Switch over. Physics warping. Add some more oxidizer. Yeah, I am probably going to need to split this up into multiple parts, which is not bode well. are out of oxidizer. I could have docked up with my habitat, but not doing that now. Continue burning for a bit, and then I will set up another. Everything's so hard in career mode, you had to reach the moon without maneuver tool. Yeah. If I'd planned to split up the maneuver, I could have done it better. But now it is messing up the timing, yeah. I'll probably end up needing to burn from here, which isn't going to be the most efficient, but at least not the worst. But not great. I've got plenty of Delta V though. Enough. So I can afford to waste some Delta V. This is designed to land on Minmus and then return. So, because that was the original mission this craft was designed for. But if I'm not even landing on Minmus, I should be fine. Not that Minmus needs that much Delta V to actually land and take off from. Yeah, so the last 3 jet engines are interesting. Yeah, the last highest tech one I mentioned before. You've got the 2 modes between air breathing and oh, I've got the craft as my target, not Minmus as my target. Okay. Should be able to try to get an encounter. Wait. Okay. That can probably still get us an encounter, not far off. Okay. Here I would need to burn more. Don't need to. Tiniest little yeah, no, I'll do mid-course correction. Although actually, nah, let's not. Let's just get into an orbit here, and then I will need to match the inclination of this. So, inclination is best when you're going slow. So, higher up, further out orbits, you're more efficient with your inclination changes. Even if it looks like it's a lot larger difference that you need to do, just the way velocities work. If you're going 1,000 meters per second one way and you add 1 meter a second perpendicular to it, you're basically still traveling the same direction. Traveling half a meter a second one way and you do 1 meter a second perpendicular, you're now mostly traveling perpendicular. So slower is better for inclination changes. Further out orbits are better. Means that is probably a good maneuver. Time for it. Point at it and then do the burn. Time warp. Time physics warping, I think. Now I can time warp. Yeah, so highest tech jet engine is ramjet, is via Rapier. You get benefits I've mentioned a few times now. The second highest tech is Whiplash. They have the highest efficiency and yeah, you get good thrust out of them. Can get more thrust out of Rapier at Mark 3, I think. Maybe 1.3, I can't remember. And then the one below that, you've got one of the higher thrust jet engines. Forgotten what its name is, but you've got a wet mode and dry mode in that as well. But it isn't actually wet and dry mode. It's just you can choose to use a less efficient method. I need to burn. I've started burning already. Because 5 minutes and 20 seconds would mean actually 2 minutes 40. So about right. So fun to watch. It sucks so much. So much it's always late. Why isn't Canada closer? Canada big. I'm going to physics swap for burn just to speed things up 4 times at least. And I mean, at least, yeah. In terms of being far away from things, Australia, New Zealand's probably the worst. At least Canada's only across the pond from Europe. And you've also got everywhere else in North America it isn't too far time zone wise, and South America. Same time zones. Asia, yeah, you're across the Pacific. I guess, yeah, Australia get the East Asian populations, which is quite a lot of population. But, yeah. Let's see how this is going. Okay. You're getting there. Brief encounter with the moon. Let's get rid of physics warping. There we go. Got an encounter. So let's just make a maneuver. You get into an orbit. There we go. Then set that as a target. Yeah, Canada's the only place you want to go where some people know a bit of French. The qualifiers you put on there are interesting, to say the least. Where some people know a bit. I'm wondering how many places you could get that fit that requirement, where there is actually, yeah, probably quite a few places where they're teaching French is commonly taught as a second language in school, where people don't really know how to speak it, but yeah, there's some people that know a bit of French. But yeah, I mean, it depends where in Canada you can get quite varying degrees of French. Probably West Coast, you're not going to get much French at all. There'll be people who learned some French in school and have never actually heard a French person talk. Then you have complete opposite end of the spectrum, Quebec. Vive le Quebec libre, all that kind of stuff. And that is very French. If you go to a bit of B, you're not going to understand it. Then you've got Manitoba, which is the only actual bilingual province in Canada. Nearly went to Montreal? Uh-huh. Flights are cheap. Even had passport made. Uh-huh. Where from, if you don't mind me asking? And yeah, Montreal, you can get by without actually knowing French. It's the Anglophone center of Quebec, basically. People will understand you. Northern France, aha. Yeah, so from memory, Quebec, yeah, Quebecois French isn't Parisian French. It was from like countryside French. I think mostly northern France, but French has changed to be more Parisian with the whole language uh, prescriptivism. Hmm. Next thing I'll need to do, I will just switch over to Dune mission. So we're in Gena's sphere of influence now. Maybe just have a little plan. Probably not. Have a look. Okay, so if we look prograde, can I see it? Oh, there it is. And there's the moon. To be honest, you also have a funny accent in the north. It probably also depends which north, because you've also got Brittany, which is more Celtic. You've got some crossover there between like Cornwall and Ireland, Scotland. It's the Brythonic stuff. As opposed to, oh, yeah, Brythonic as opposed to Celtic, but they're in the same kind of cultural group. Yeah. I think that's Ike. Yes, that's Ike. That's where we're heading, and you can see the poles. Yeah, so basically the plan, well, that's just going to be to capture, 5-minute long burn, and then I will be bringing the orbit down until it's at a point where this period of the elliptical orbit is an extra third longer than the period of a circular orbit. Now, the period of an orbit is going to be the same if you take the average of the apoapsis and periapsis. Keep in mind you need to add the radius of the planet on both sides. If you take the average, the period of that orbit is going to be the exact same as the circular orbit with that average radius. So that's how you can calculate like periods of orbits. And the period of an orbit is also relatively straightforward to calculate. If you're assuming a circle, because you know how much gravity you're getting pulled by. So if we actually and pull up the info. GM. So this is the standard gravity thing, whatever it's called. And so you can use that. That'll be telling you basically how much pull you're getting. So then you just need, for a circle, you'll be getting, let's see, your acceleration is going to be equal to angular velocity. You won't have any radial velocity. Yeah, British stole loads of our words. I wouldn't call it stealing. English as language doesn't exist. It's 10 languages walking together in a trench sheets. Yeah, so it's not the British influence. The Anglo culture is separate from the Brythonic and Celtic. So those are significantly older. I don't know how much Brythonic actually remains in the Brittany region. In part because I know France, medieval France, or Renaissance France, really clamped down on the French language. They had a whole crusade in Carcassonne because they didn't speak French right. So I'm going to guess the Brythonic in Brittany didn't survive. But yeah, I don't know that part of history. But it's not the completely unrelated from the Norman invasion. Yeah, significantly earlier. And more like Welsh. So yeah, Welsh and Cornwall are the Brythonic parts, while Scotland and Ireland are the Celtic parts. And Brythonic and Celtic are related, but they're not related to the Anglo or the Saxon. Anyway, yeah, that's complete unrelated tangent on cultural, language, etymology, history stuff. So, yeah, the centripetal acceleration that you'll need for the circular orbit is velocity squared divided by the radius. So you have the... that doesn't tell you the period, though. Because that'll be velocity. Anyway, where did I learn this? So history games like Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis, and then just learning in my free time because of that. So you learn some stuff from that, such as the fact that Finnish and Hungary are related. It's the Finno-Ugric group, because you had basically tribes living northern Russia, where part of one's like subgroup ended up in Finland and settled there, and another subgroup moved all the way down to the Hungarian basin. I've forgotten what it's called. And settled there. So even though they're completely separated, multiple countries in between them, not as much similarity nowadays. But yeah, they are related cultures. Yeah, of course it's going to be Crusader Kings. Games are great for learning and just giving you pathways of helping direct you to learn stuff. And they can be good motivators for that too. Anyway, I have been yapping on for a while. I'm probably going to be saving this for next stream. And I will calculate the actual orbital height that I need. Can I name some cities in northern France? Oh, I should be able to name them. I've visited before. Well, obviously we've got Calais. Normandy's the region. There's not a city called Normandy. Uh, some of these places are like, it's a region, it's not the city. I'm pretty sure Brest is the region and not a city. Oh no, Brest, that should be a town in Brittany? Oh, yeah, Brest is a city. Um, in Brittany, isn't it? Uh, ooh, yeah, Britain. Um, mm, Caen, I think is in the south, along with Carcassonne and Avignon. Um, north. Yeah, I think I got 2 points of the Pentagon. That's good enough, right? Ah, I have visited, or we went for a few places in northern France, and then went down to the south on vacation once. Um, I don't think I went to Amiens. I'm gonna pull up Google Maps at this point. Where was it? Oh, I went to what's the island? Mont Saint Michel. It is in the north. Oh, I think I went there. Um, Probably went to Rennes. Can't remember because we took a ferry in northern France. Might have been Roscoff. Then Morlaix, I think. And then we took train down to Rennes. I feel like we went to Caen at some point, but I can't remember at what point. Hmm. Yeah, I've given up on actually trying to remember because I don't think I'd remember any names now. I'm just looking at where I went. I did remember Mont Saint Michel just before actually pulling up Google Maps, so. Yeah, I enjoyed the vacations. Some very pretty architecture and some nice scenery as well. Um, Mountains are nice. Not something the mountains you don't really see in Eastern Canada or in uh, Australia, which is where I'm originally from. This Paris doesn't count as the north, does it? It's Paris is Parisian. Uh, it's its own thing. Um, yeah, in terms of naming 5 cities in Canada, I know you've got at least one. Can you name a few others in Quebec? I mean, you can probably name at least one more in Quebec. And I'll give you a hint for naming at least towns in Canada. Any world capital is probably in Ontario. Yep, Quebec is the city, the city of Quebec. So you said Montreal earlier, you said Quebec now. That's at least 2. And then if you want to cheat, you've got London, Ontario. You've got there's London. Can I find? I'm not sure if there's a. I don't think there's a Moscow anymore. I think they changed that name. Sherbrooke. Yep. Oh. That's another one of the very French Quebec ones. I mean, yeah, if you're from France, French Quebec makes sense. Got the town of Paris, Ontario. Right near London, Ontario. I think you've got Baden, Ontario. Donegal, Ontario. What other European cities do we have in Ontario? Hanover, not a city, but it's a region. Durham, Ontario. You can't steal with Paris. There's a thing of you can visit all of Europe in a small region of Ontario. We've got Stratford upon the River Avon. Ontario is a province in Canada. It's the one just east of Quebec, just west of Quebec, rather. It's where the capital is. Ottawa is in Ontario, barely. And it's just across the river from Gatineau, which is in Quebec. But yeah, there's a whole thing of anywhere, any famous city in the world, there's probably a version of it in Ontario. I think there's a Sydney, Ontario. Even. Yeah, Ontario likes to be confusing. Yeah, like they've even got a Stratford upon the River Avon, Ontario. They have a yearly Shakespeare festival. I wonder what gave them that idea. We've got Tweed. Scrolling through. A lot of these are just small towns. Warsaw, Ontario. I'm having to zoom in quite far to actually see some of these, though. I need to get to Ontario now with the copyright claims. Yeah, I mean, in Ottawa, at least, you might be in Ontario, and it might be primarily English, but because there's plenty of people from Gatineau there, so you should be able to get by with French. But I mean, you're at least from the in terms of writing, you're good on English. Do a quick tour of Europe. Yeah, people in America talk about how Europe's all so small and you can get everywhere really quickly. Just like a day trip across from one side of Europe to another, like north to south at least. You can get faster in Ontario. You could probably visit at least 7 capitals in a day in Ontario. Hmm. Yeah, you can see some small town. Take a selfie of each city sign, yeah. Yeah, you can see some nice countryside and small town views there. Something which is more impressive for the North Americans is the old city in Montreal and Quebec, because you get a lot of the old, like you can. There's still the old cobblestone streets in the old city sections, and like you got the chateau in Quebec. Uh, uh, yeah, not as big of an appeal for Europeans because you've got that just down your road basically a lot of the time. Hmm. Uh, Another place if you want to have French to fall back on would be well, yeah, would be Manitoba, but there's not really much to visit Manitoba. But they do have it is the only officially English and French bilingual province in Canada. Got you at Warsaw, Ontario. It is a small town, very small town. Just fair warning. Township. Um, Apparently it's got some caves. Uh, Village of Warsaw. uh, Okay, apparently it has a name, or it's I don't know. Uh, so in a 460 square kilometer area, they've got a bit over 7,500. Refreshing to be in a country where no one talks the language. Yeah, yeah. I mean, as long as you can get by with language skills, good. Uh, Being in a country where no one speaks your language and you can't speak their language, it can be quite stressful if you don't know where to go. It's better these days with Google. You're able to just search for like tickets and everything online. But yeah, in the past, especially, go to somewhere you know where you need to go, but you don't know how to actually get there. It's rough. Hmm. Yeah, I remember once visiting Japan, where a number of years ago now. Oh, uh, over a decade, or nearly 2 decades ago. Visiting Japan while we were on our way back to Australia, just for like half a day, and we nearly got on the wrong train because we couldn't understand the signs. But yeah, I mean, automatic translation is a lot better as well now these days. You can just take a photo and have it translate the text. Yeah, I went to Japan a long time ago when I was quite young. Well, young enough that I don't remember all that much of it, to be honest. I do remember some moments, like the fact that we couldn't go to the Imperial Gardens because it was a Monday and they were closed that day. The one day of the week where they're closed. Hmm. And it was basically just while we were waiting for our next flight. No way I said 2 decades? Yeah, 2 decades. Ugh. Yeah, later 20s, I'll say that much. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, depending how old you are, if you want to come to Quebec, I know Quebec universities, well, Quebec as a whole really likes inviting people from French-speaking parts of the world to visit for university. Um, so yeah, there's a whole partnership with the French government on that as well, where Quebec students go to France and French students go to Quebec, and I think they've got a similar deal with Algeria as well. Um, yeah, I know a few people that did that. I know a few people in that went to the English universities in Quebec that did that. I don't think they're supposed to do that, but maybe they weren't doing it through the government deal. But yeah, Montreal has a lot of universities because you've got the English universities, multiple. You've got multiple French universities, and then you've got the whole CGEP system where it's in between high school and university, but also trade school stuff. Yeah, it's think the highest student population in North America, or post-secondary student population. But the CGEP system is doing a fair bit of heavy lifting there. 2023 stretch studentships so far. We do a master's. But yeah, definitely not for everyone. It's something to consider if you're thinking of going and planning on doing a master's anyway, but if you don't want to do a master's, don't go out of your way to get a thing with Quebec for that. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, at least in Canada, um, you get a lot of people going to university. I think it's the highest highest adult population percentage with post-secondary studies in the world. That's what you're aiming? I mean, it's never too late to do a master's. I haven't done a master's yet, but I am thinking at some point I will probably do one. In part because my work would help fund that, so I might as well. Uh, but yeah, masters especially, it isn't. You can take it slower. You can do it while you're doing work at the same time, like a full-time job, and then just take a couple classes or just one class a semester. A lot of it depends on the program, of course, but a lot of them are more dependent on like a final thesis statement. And yeah, you can always decide to pick up another bachelor or master's later down the line. Hmm. And yeah. So I did software engineering for a bachelor's. I would probably do some more software engineering related. The exact direction, not entirely sure on yet. Uh, hmm. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the AI hype with like large language model and stuff. It's definitely overhyped. But part of that is because I was already interested in I have taken AI courses, but it's like the actual machine learning whole process of that, and not the hype overhypeness of, oh, we've got chatbots that can talk to you, and oh, maybe they're sentient. They're not. It's predictive text algorithms. The actual technology involved, maths involved, hasn't changed much. It's just we've gotten more computing power and larger matrices. I had software engineering masters as well, cybersecurity. Yep. Cybersecurity is interesting. I am touching on that with my job. But also might go for some more low-level embedded stuff. Maybe signals. Who knows? Might just decide to pivot entirely and do some music stuff. Who knows? I've got time to decide. Also had some heavy courses in AI since you finished your bachelor's during the ChatGPT popularization. I play violin and I do some composition. But if I was to do music for related masters, it would probably be more like sound tools, so synthesizer stuff like that. Resonance. I do not envy you for finishing your bachelor's during ChatGPT popularization. I got out right before that hit in, and I am so glad of it. It was beginning to pick up. ChatGPT had been around, but it wasn't like the big thing yet. So I didn't have to worry about yeah, I didn't have to worry about using it myself. I didn't have to worry about teachers using it horribly. I didn't have to worry about students using it horribly, and then teachers having to respond and making everything worse. I am so glad I got out before that. Part of the reason why I didn't go into a master's. Part of the reason. Other part of the reason was last semester was just way too much work. So I got a bit burned out, wanted to do something else for a bit at least. Yeah. Then ChatGPT got way more popular and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not touching that for a while. Applied for a bachelor's in musicology too, didn't get on the spot. Yeah. Musicology, yeah, but I'm guessing there's not as much like student space, at least from my experience of university, though it's quite competitive because you've got a lot of people that are very heavily in music then picking up musicology because they didn't get into their music performing, which has even fewer spots. Just finished the first composition for a student film. Nice. I mean, yeah, just because you didn't get into musicology doesn't mean you can't continue composing. You can always just make stuff for yourself, even if you don't publish it. I tend not to compose for the sake of composing, but I'll have like an idea of, oh, that's a nice little motif. Let me write that down and make something out of it. Yeah. I do not envy the like cohort that was immediately after me. It was wild. I was hearing stories of teachers using it creating bad assignments using it, but also just throwing everyone's assignment through ChatGPT, asking it if they cheated using ChatGPT, which of course ChatGPT is not good at performing those kinds of tasks. Yeah, people don't understand the AI, so they use it in ways and tasks that it's not good at, and just assume that it's doing what it says it is. So I've basically got two criteria for using AI. One, it needs to actually be a difficult or tedious task, such that using AI will actually speed you up as opposed to just writing it yourself. Because if it takes the same amount of time to do it yourself as it takes to write for prompts, then you might as well just do it yourself. And the second requirement is it needs to be easily verifiable. If it's going to take more work to verify that the results are correct than it actually takes to do it right in the first place, just do it right once. First was fun when we tried to adapt the courses, and that was pure chaos. I can only imagine. I am so glad I got out. Yeah, it's I can imagine it was rough because you went from pandemic, then into AI boom. Both of those things are just rough to have to go through. I mean, pandemic, it depends, I guess. You working from home, it has a certain level of comfort to it, but for workload, because they know they can't police you, they gave you, at least in my experience, they gave us a whole bunch of work. So it was easier work, but a lot more of it, and so you end up tired in that way. But not more flexible in your actual time schedule. Yeah, screw generation. Yeah, AI can be useful in the right jobs with the right type of AI. Don't put ChatGPT into a classifier of like an image classifier. It's not going to work well. It's because it's not trained on that. It's not the right tool for the job. Yeah, I mean, best of luck. Um, Maybe if you get into a master's, good luck with that. I will be ending the stream here because I have been yapping for like the past half hour now, and I mean, it's late for you. It's beginning to get late for me. Did graduate, but didn't like take the test. Yeah, I mean it depends on the course. Some courses you have the final exam. Some courses you have a final project, or some courses you don't even have a final project, you just have several projects throughout the year. Yeah. I have had a course where to pass the class, you had to pass the final. And I was late for the final by an hour. I was still allowed to take it, thankfully, because no one had left, but I was going into that course with like 120% or something. I had about 3 percentage points I could get on the final between getting it the highest, like an A, couldn't get above an A, 3 percentage points where I could get an A minus, and then anything else below that would be a fail. Yeah, I had fun. I've got the Eve mission all set up, so I'm glad that's all settled. And yeah, enjoyed the chat. I will see you around. Yeah, I got VA in the end. That course. I was going into it with 120%. It was an easy course for me. This was a logic course, and most of the people taking it were like philosophy students, and they weren't thinking about the problems in the right way, really. So they were struggling. I was thinking of it from like computer science point of view of like, yeah, I've got Boolean logic. I'm used to all of this. So it was an easy course. I didn't struggle really with your final exam. The only difficulty was finishing it, like writing enough to get enough points within the time scale. And yeah, I was with the assignments. I was basically getting all of that and then also getting the bonuses. So yeah, it was fine. Was a bit of a rush running uphill, sprinting to actually get to the exam, but that's what happens when you don't check the finalized schedule for the exam schedule, and only using the preliminary exam schedule where the exam was later on and then they changed the exam time. Anyway, I should end it there. Hope you enjoyed. If you're watching the VOD in the future, let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, I will see you then. Bye.